It's good to spread out.
Notice of this meeting was advertised in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act. Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call.
Ms. Trueblood?
Present.
Mrs. Denny will be absent this evening. Mr. Cathers?
Present.
Mrs. Jackson will be absent this evening. Mr. Allen?
Present. This meeting is now called to order. Minutes filed by the clerk. I believe we'll be putting the minutes off.
I believe the minutes will need to be tabled because Mrs. Trueblood actually wasn't here at the last meeting, so I don't believe a vote by 2 council members would be sufficient. Or is it majority of those present?
Majority of those present.
Okay, so Tom.
So we could have a vote?
Yeah, then we can.
Yeah, we all.
Is there a motion to approve?
Can you get a second, though?
No,
Yeah.
There's no way to get a second.
I can't second.
Yeah.
Under the bylaws.
They can just be tabled. It's not
Yeah.
necessary to get adopted.
That would be the problem.
The regular meeting minutes from October 7th, 2015 will be tabled until the December 2nd meeting.
Do they have a motion to table? Andy, do they have a motion to table?
Yeah, since it's on the agenda.
Motion to table it.
Is there a motion to table it?
For the motion to table the minutes.
I second the motion to table it for December 2nd.
Amy, please poll the council.
Mr. Cathers?
Yes.
Ms. Trueblood?
Yes.
Mr. Allen?
Yes. Reports and communications filed with the clerk. Council, we received 5 reports from the clerk and administration. Is there any discussion on any of the reports?
No, I have none.
No, I have none.
Okay. Is there a motion to approve?
Accept.
Accept?
I motion to accept
I
the
second the
reports.
motion.
And they're also on the website.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I second that motion.
Amy, please poll the council.
Ms. Trueblood?
Yes.
Mr. Cathers?
Yes.
Mr. Allen?
Yes. Ordinances for second reading, public hearing, and/or adoption. The 2 ordinances on the agenda tonight, we will be having the public hearing because they were both advertised. However, the vote will not be until December 2nd. Ordinance number 16-2015, a bond ordinance providing for various capital improvements to the water utility, including but not limited to the reconstruction and repair of well number 11 by and in the Township of Pemberton in the County of Burlington, State of New Jersey, the Township, appropriating $1 million therefore and authorizing the issuance of $900,000 in bonds or notes of the Township to finance part of the cost thereof. This portion of the meeting is now open to public comment. Mr. Tan?
This ordinance here, it doesn't have anything about the cleanup process of the well water. You're just talking about repair of a well and there's other capital improvements. It's quite broad.
Dennis, would you care to address that?
It's for the construction of a treatment facility to remove the radium from the well. and that's what this bond ordinance is for. Ultimately, what will happen is that we will have a loan through the New Jersey Environmental Infrastructure Fund, and this is the mechanism that we need to create in order to essentially have construction financing, and then after the project is done and approved by NJDEP and the New Jersey Infrastructure Trust, we will then get reimbursed for the cost by way of a loan through them. Ultimately, what will happen is that this bonds probably won't be sold. What will happen is they will authorize short-term notes in order to fund the project.
What about the yearly cost after the facility is built to operate it? What is the cost on that?
You don't know what the annual cost is up front, because ultimately the cost to pay off the loan will be after EIT provides us with their loan documents and tells us how much of the cost will actually be a grant. We expect some of it to be a grant.
I mean the yearly operating cost.
Yeah, with the operating cost is actually another unknown at this point. We have a basic idea of, I believe it was roughly $60,000 to remediate or change the system out, but it depends on how much water is used. If we use that well, quite often, well then, we'll have to change the medium substance more. But if we just use it as our backup supply, as we have been using, or use it less, we wouldn't have to change it out as much. So it's going to depend on how much use is that well is given.
Well, there must be a figure per gallon or something.
Yes,
and
there
there's
is.
other plants operating now like that.
Mm-hmm.
Did anybody check some of these other areas where they have plants similar to that?
We have.
And what was the cost?
Again, I don't know the number off the top of my head. I do remember when we first went into this venture and looking into the system, to change out the medium, I remember a number of 60,000, and I don't know if that's annually, if it's at full volume. So I don't want to tell you that's the cost, but we can certainly get that information. And it depends on how much we use it.
Now, can you please give us a breakdown of why we're actually going through this process?
Well, we tested positive for radium in our wells, and we were limited as to how we can use that well. We weren't restricted, and we don't always test positive on that particular well. Certain times of the year we do, and it is probably the highest production well we have, which has not been used. I don't know if it's been turned on more than once since we went down. And when we do turn it on, we've got to do notice to the public. But that is a high volume well, and the cost of remediating it, we believe, outweighs the cost of decommissioning that well and taking a risk of digging a new well and potentially coming up with the same contamination.
Yep, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Chief Augustone? This is about the ordinance?
About the well?
Yes.
Yeah. This well 11 is by the school? Yes. Okay. Craig Augustine, Fire Chief, Pemberton Township. I would strongly encourage the council to pass this ordinance. This well gives us an additional water supply for fire suppression. It's connected to a 1 million gallon surface tank, which in the past has augmented our water situation in the town when we've had some low water pressures due to other issues. This particular well, as the mayor indicated, is our best pumping well. And what we do is, in the event we have a multiple fires, the water department is able to go up and engage this pump and also engage this tank. And what that does is it supplements the water that's already in the towers, brings the head pressure up, which then allows us to to do our job more efficiently with the mains that we've had. And also, we just, as you all know, we went through this upgrade on the ISO, and this could affect it to some degree. So this, not only for drinking water, fire suppression needs to be taken in this. So this is a good thing. We need to keep this going. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Ms. Quinn?
Good evening.
Good evening.
Couple of questions on these two ordinances.
Ordinance 16.
Yes. I'm sorry?
Or just ordinance 16 at this moment.
Oh, we're not talking about 17 either?
Not yet. I still have to read it.
Understand. With regard to 16, the mayor just mentioned that when the well is tested, we don't always test positive for radium. How often does the well get tested? I'm curious. And have we ever had a positive before?
It sounds like we have, but how often does the well get tested? Is that annually or?
Got to be tested whenever we turn it on, which we haven't been turning it on. Obviously it's tested positive, that's why we had to turn it off.
I'm curious, if this facility is built and the radium is taken away, are we going to be done with this, or is there a possibility that it could come back? I mean, I'm trying to understand.
That's what the treatment facility is designed to do, to eliminate the radium.
Yeah, it's basically a filter system. It's got like an ionization process to where the radium attaches to the medium, and then you clean your medium out. It's sort of like a backflush flow in your water system if you have a softener, but it's more like a filter. And there's a chance that any one of our wells can experience the same problem today. I believe Bordentown is experiencing that with one or two of their wells currently, and they're putting a system in along with having to dig one or two new wells right now because of the same problem. But it's an ongoing problem in this area of New Jersey.
And it's a naturally
It's a
occurring
natural occurrence, yes.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Quinn.
Thank you.
Seeing no other hands, this portion of the meeting is now closed. Council, is there any discussion? As I indicated,
Jason, before you go on, if you're going to not, we need 4 votes for a bond ordinance, but I think you should have a discussion, obviously, but if you want to not vote, you should probably table it till the next.
and have the discussion
Do a
if there's
motion.
any
But
later.
do the discussion now, and then make a motion to table if that's, where you're going.
Council, is there any discussion?
Not at this point.
Is there a motion to table this ordinance number 16-2015?
Forward a motion to table ordinance number 16-2015 to the December meeting.
I second that motion for December 2nd, ordinance 16-2015.
Amy, please poll the council.
Mr. Cathers?
Yes.
Ms. Trueblood?
Yes.
Mr. Allen?
Yes. Thank you, Andy. Ordinance number 17-2015, ordinance of the Township of Pemberton in the County of Burlington, State of New Jersey, the Township, providing for a special emergency appropriation in an amount not to exceed $750,000 to fund the preparation and execution of a complete program of revaluation of real property in the township. This portion of the meeting is now open to public comment. Mr. Tompkins.
Good evening, Jack Tompkins, Pemberton Heights. I understand that this was directed through the county, so we don't have that much of a choice unless we want to get a fine. And I also understand that this was last done in 1989, I believe. It's been quite a long time. My only question is special emergency appropriation. Give me that in layman's terms. Are you going out for a bond? Is this in some kind of trust that we have for an emergency like this? Where's the money coming from?
This will be bonded to fund the project, correct?
So it's another bond.
Yes.
Thank you.
Seeing no other public comments, this portion of the meeting is now closed. Council, is there any
I have
discussion?
no questions.
No questions?
No questions.
Okay. I'd just like to say real quick, I mean, I know the last couple meetings we've had some bond issues, but I mean, sometimes these things are needed, as Mr. Tompkins indicated, this is mandated by the county, so sometimes you have to do these things. And the vote, again, will be put off until the December 2nd meeting. Is there a motion to table?
I motion to table ordinance number 17205 for December 2nd's meeting.
I second the motion.
Amy, please poll the council.
Mrs. Trueblood?
Yes.
Mr. Cathers?
Yes.
Mr. Allen?
Yes. We have no ordinances for introduction tonight, so we will be moving on to resolutions, number 7. I believe we have a few resolutions to be added to the agenda tonight. Is there a motion to add?
Yes. I motion to add 2 resolutions, 255 and 256. A resolution of Township of Pemberton authorizing the purchase of electricity supply services for public use on an online auction website.
I second the motion for 255 and 256.
Can they be done together?
Can they?
Or they should be done, could we do them
Okay,
separately?
one separate, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So your motion is to add 255.
I second the motion to add ordinance 255. Resolution 255. Thank you.
I'll second the motion. Oh, I already had those first.
You made the motion.
I'm
Amy,
sorry.
please poll the council.
Mrs. Trueblood?
Yes.
Mr. Cathers?
Yes.
Mr. Allen?
Yes. And the other resolution, 256, is there a
Yes.
motion to add?
I motion to add resolution 256.
I second
Remember, why don't
the
you just
title.
describe
Yes,
what
I'll
it is so everyone read it, so everyone knows what it is.
Read the title, please.
A resolution of Township of Pemberton authorizing the purchase of electricity supply services for the public use on an online auction website.
Thank you.
I second the motion for 256, resolution for Pemberton Township authorizing the purchase of electrical supply services for public use on an online action website.
Amy, please poll the council.
Mrs. Trueblood?
Yes.
Mr. Cathers?
Yes.
Mr. Allen?
Yes. In addition, I believe administration wanted to remove resolution number 248-2015 from the agenda. So that will be taken off.
Is it being pulled from the agenda or tabled?
Is it being pulled from the agenda?
Just pull it from the agenda. If we bring it back, we'll affirmatively bring it back in December.
Okay.
Council, are there any comments or questions on the... Actually, first, let's do this. We have someone in the audience here by the name of Scott Casper. He's here on behalf of Virtua. Can you please come forward and give us a description of the Virtua contract for 247-2015?
Sure. Thank you. Members of the council, my name is Scott Casper. I'm the Assistant Vice President of Emergency Services at Virtua. Last week we responded to the request for proposals issued by the Township's administration for basic life support ambulance service for Pemberton Township. We submitted that bid in accordance with the specifications and requirements described in the RFP, that being the provision of one ambulance 24 hours a day, 365 days per year for a 5-year term here in the Township of Pemberton. And our bid was submitted without request for subsidy from the Township. That, in a nutshell, is the services that were requested. We at Virtua have a long-standing tradition and are very proud of the emergency services that we provide throughout both Burlington and Camden counties, and I'm certainly happy to answer any specific questions you have about the BLS services that we proposed in response to the RFP this evening.
When you say no subsidy, what exactly do you mean?
I mean, we requested no municipal subsidy to be paid to Virtua by the Township in order to provide those services.
For how many years?
My understanding is the Township is requesting a 5-year term on the contract.
Right. Okay. Council, are there any questions for Mr. Casper?
I have no questions at this time.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Casper. Okay. Council, do we have any questions for administration on this resolution?
I have no questions.
No?
When will it become effective?
We're talking about the emergency services. We've discussed an effective date of November 20th for the day shift.
Thank you.
What about, what are the major changes in the contract, and what about, what are the major changes in the contracts?
Well, if you're talking about compared to Lourdes, this Lourdes has provided in the contract that just expired one ambulance dedicated to the Township. We also include the borough, by the way, to the Township, 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. Part of the Lourdes contract was also for a second ambulance during the day. That is not a part of the current contract that we are proposing to council. We will be exploring additional options, both an increase in capacity by our volunteer fire company and a number of models that we've discussed and will continue to discuss. We're also considering perhaps putting out another bid for a second ambulance, and we'll be ready to discuss that with council once certain things have happened between now and the December 2nd meeting.
So the second bid would go out sometime very soon?
If we're going to put a second bid out for a second ambulance during the day, it would go out very soon, yes. And I said the current situation with Virtua is not going to change from Lourdes with respect to volunteer services. The volunteer services in the past have always been at night and weekends, and it continues in the same fashion today.
Thank you. Mr. Casper?
Just to add to that.
You have to come forward so the clerk could pick it up in the microphone.
As you probably know, Virtua has a paramedic unit that's stationed here in Browns Mills as well. Recognizing that you're looking at a change from 2 ambulances during the daytime to 1 ambulance during the daytime, we've also discussed internally an operating policy change so that if that first ambulance were occupied, perhaps the hospital or already on a 911 call, we would have the county dispatch our paramedic unit as the first responder to that second call in town, so that at least we have someone heading to that call, while we're waiting for that other ambulance to return to the township, or a backup ambulance from whoever our mutual aid partners may be at the time. So I feel very confident that we'll take care of the residents in a timely and effective fashion.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Council, are there any other questions pertaining to this resolution and/or any other resolutions on the agenda?
I have none.
I have none.
Andy, Resolution 254-2015 is under resolutions. Do we have anything for closed session or administration? Or
I have nothing for closed tonight. Do you, Dennis? No, there's nothing for closed.
is there a motion to approve the resolution?
Just so you're clear, you're doing them as a
Can they do
group.
it that way?
Hmm?
Can they do it that way?
Yeah, but I think they need a consensus. They want to do it that way. But yeah, right? Because they're listed. It's not a consent agenda. It's listed individually, right? So this is new.
Right.
But I think the council can agree that that you want to handle them jointly, or if you want to handle anything. But you need a consensus on that before you. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
If anyone wants to discuss anyone individually, you should ask that, and then if not, then maybe the motion should be to approve them collectively.
Would council like to approve the resolutions collectively, or is there anything that they would want to approve independently?
I think we should, for collectively.
Collectively?
Mm-hmm.
I feel comfortable with collectively.
Is there a motion to approve?
I think the motion should say
How should we
resolution
word that?
to, whatever the first one is. approve
Resolution.
256 with the exclusion of 248.
248.
Resolution number 242-2015 through 256-2015 with the exclusion of resolution number 248-2015, which Dennis pulled,
And 254, which is the executive session.
and 254.
A motion to approve the resolutions collectively, with the exception of pulling out 248, which has been pulled, and also 254.
I second the motion to approve the resolutions with the exceptions of 248 and 254.
Amy, please poll the council.
Mrs. Trueblood?
Yes.
Mr. Cathers?
Yes.
Mr. Allen?
Yes. There is no unfinished business this evening. New business. Review and discussion of the council bylaws. Council, we are short 2 council members tonight, so my recommendation is to give council members the opportunity to express their points of view as well. I am recommending that we table this until the December 2nd meeting, if that is okay.
Yes.
I forward a motion to table the review and discussions of the council bylaws until the December 2nd meeting, 2015.
I'll second, so that we could table it to December 2nd.
Mr. Cathers?
Yes.
Ms. Trueblood?
Yes.
Mr. Allen?
Yes. New business, discussion and possible introduction of proposed ordinance to amend Chapter 132 of the Code of the Township of Pemberton entitled Noise. I am also recommending that we table this until the December 2nd meeting. However, if council members wish to discuss it tonight, I am for that as well.
I have no comments for this evening. It would be best to make those comments when the council is in full session.
I agree with that.
Okay. Is Is there a motion to table?
I forward a motion to table the Pemberton Township, Chapter 132 of the Code of the Township of Pemberton entitled Noise.
I second to
Amy,
have it
please.
tabled. Discussion and possible introduction.
Amy, please poll the council.
Mr. Cathers?
Yes.
Ms. Trueblood?
Yes.
Mr. Allen?
Yes. And new business, discussion and possible introduction of proposed ordinance to establish residency criteria and preference for the selection of police officers for employment within the Township of Pemberton. I'm also recommending that this be tabled. However, if council would like to discuss this, I am for that. The reason why I'm recommending that these things be tabled is because, as you all are aware, again, we are short a few council members, and I'd like to give them the opportunity to express their thoughts and points of view as well.
I would like to make a comment, because I will not be here the next meeting, to make a comment as an official, that this is a good ordinance to allow employment for the individuals who seek law enforcement as their career. And if it's not able to be fulfilled within the county, within this township, then to extend it out according to the levels which have been identified. I do support this.
Thank you. Is there a motion to table, or how would we like to proceed?
I forward a motion to table ordinance, what was the first part of this number?
This is just, it's just an ordinance to establish residency criteria for the selection of police officers.
Thank
Doesn't
you.
have a number yet.
Thank you. I forward a motion to table the ordinance of Township of Pemberton establishing the residency hiring criteria and preferences for the selection of police officers for employment with the Township of Pemberton.
Is there a second?
I second the motion to table it to December 2nd.
Amy, please poll the council.
Mr. Cathers?
Yes.
Ms. Trueblood?
Yes.
Mr. Allen?
Yes. Moving on, D, we have a social affair permit for the American Legion, February 7th at 1 p.m. through February 8th, 2 a.m. Super Bowl party. Is there a motion to approve this social affair permit?
I motion to approve the social permit at the American Legion on February 7th.
I second the motion to approve the American Legion Post 294 Super Bowl party for February 7th.
Amy, please poll the council.
Mrs. Trueblood?
Yes.
Mr. Cathers?
Yes.
Mr. Allen?
Yes. And I didn't mention the purpose of that event is to support the veterans, families, and the community at large. Purchases over 2,000. We have a purchase of 2 extended snowplow hitches, plow lights, and their installation for Public Works dump trucks. The cost for the total for each of them will be $13,980. This request came from Public Works. Is there a motion to?
First, I have a question.
Sure.
These items, the plow hitch with the hydraulic lights, is this a replacement or is this a new components?
If I may, Mr. Council President, these are new for to be installed on the trucks that we purchased this past year. So we can expand our snow plowing capability.
Thank you.
Thank you. Is there a motion to approve?
I motion to approve Public Works for the purchase of extended plow hitches with hydraulic and lights for trucks 27 and 28 in the amount of $13,980.
I second the motion to approve the hydraulic lights for trucks 27 and 28 for $13,980.
Amy, please poll the council.
Ms. Trueblood?
Yes.
Mr. Cathers?
Yes.
Mr. Allen?
Yes. We have another purchase coming from Public Works. This is to perform building survey for asbestos from the properties that we purchased on Juliustown Road. I don't know if there's any numbers. The addresses of those properties are 30 and 50 Juliustown Road, totaling $2,600. And this will be coming from the UAZ fund, correct?
That is correct, and we need to do the asbestos survey prior to authorizing the demolition to ensure that folks are not injured or sickened by it.
Is there a motion to approve?
I motion to approve Public Works for the purchase of a building survey for asbestos services for Lot 34 and 50 Juliustown Road in the amount of $2,600.
I second the motion for the purchase of building surveys for buildings 34 and 50 Juliustown Road in the amount of $2,600.
Amy, please poll the council.
Ms. Trueblood?
Yes.
Mr. Cathers?
Yes.
Mr. Allen?
Yes. Okay, approval of the vouchers. Is there a motion to approve the bill list dated October 30th, 2015?
I forward a motion to approve the vouchers for October 30th, 2015.
I second to approve the vouchers for October 30th, 2015.
Amy, please poll the council.
Mr. Cathers?
Yes.
Ms. Trueblood?
Yes.
Mr. Allen?
Yes. Moving on, the engineer's report, that was placed on here because it's listed in the bylaws, which we are following this meeting by. And we already received the engineer's report, so we will move on. Solicitor's report.
I have nothing for council this evening.
Administration, Mayor.
The hole down here on Emmons and PVM Road has been repaired. We will be seeking reimbursement from Jersey Central Power and Light for the damage they caused to our stormwater system for those repairs. The Hallow Eve party that was held at the Country Lakes Firehouse by Recreation was very successful, very well attended, and very well organized by Recreation. The pavement on Tecumseh Trail on the south side of Tecumseh Spring Lake Boulevard has been completed. They are going back now just to do some shoulder work, but we did do that stretch there, and I believe they milled Orange Avenue. I believe section of Orange was next on or Kent. I believe Kent might have been on it, and Orange is after that, I believe. So they are moving forward, trying to get as much as they can done. They do have a section of Scammell that was recently repaired. Apparently that sinkhole had started again there. We had the contractor back out to fix that, which has been done. And we're going to go in there and pave that. They're scheduling that for, I believe they got it scheduled for like a week's project at the most. So that's all I have at this time, unless you have anything.
That I see Miss Maldonado in the audience. That repaving of Scammell Drive, the last time she was here, she mentioned, I believe, a 2-inch gap that had not been taken care of. Is the repaving, is that going to cover that?
Well, 2-inch drop in the asphalt from the base coat up to the top coat will be filled in. We'll probably go in there and mill that out, making a cleaner cut on that, because some of the laterals that they had to fix and come in off the sides caused the paving cuts to actually be offset from the main trunk. So to make that a cleaner transition, we'll probably just straighten that out with milling a section of that and then paving half of that roadway when we do that project, but it'll alleviate that problem.
Okay. One more thing. Last night I received a phone call about a low-hanging tree branch where Clubhouse Road and East Lakeshore meet. So if you could have somebody from Public Works possibly check that out.
Okay.
Council, is there any other questions or comments for Mayor, Administration?
I have none.
Public comment. Ms. Quinn?
Good evening. A couple of things come to mind while I listen to you all talk. I'd like for the council to know and for the mayor to know the Tecumseh Trail that he's talking about is my side of the development. If you stand on Spring Lake Boulevard and you look down Tecumseh and you're on the left side of the road, when they paved it, they stopped short of Spring Lake Boulevard. When they repaved that square, there's now a lip there, and my only concern is if it gets cold or we have snow, it's going to crack and it could give and create a pothole. I just wanted to bring to your attention when they were paving it, they kind of stopped short of Spring Lake Boulevard. I'm just saying from weather, that's a perfect opportunity for it to crack and give.
I don't know about cracking, but we are aware of that particular spot, and the supervisors have been out there, and we are working on a plan to take that little dip out of that section.
I'm bringing it to your attention only because I'd like to see us only have to pave it once, not twice.
So we are working on it.
The other question I have for the administration with regard to the Country Lakes Dam. Been hearing some rumors going around in the last couple of days to a week. Initially, this project is on schedule to be finished by the end of December, if my memory serves me correctly. But for whatever reason, we've been hearing the end of this month. Any truth to that?
Keep your fingers crossed. We're hearing that also. The contractors are on schedule. I'll actually be meeting with them next week on the 10th, and they're hoping they might be able to pull this off by Thanksgiving. So we'll see.
That's what I heard, and I also saw that the fence was gone, and all I could think was like, my daughter is a bus aide, and she's like, this whole part about going around, which we've all been doing for the last year or so. But just
It'll
curious.
be a good thing.
Yes,
It happens.
it will. Fingers crossed. My final comment tonight would be to the council and to the administration. While this is November, soon to be the end of 2015, we're going to start the process of the budget all over again. Now, when the budget was released for this year, we all knew about the bonds for the capital improvement and a few other things because it was in the mayor's proposal. However, with these additional bonds and the fact that we don't know how much our payments are going to be or how far out we're going to have to pay these off, and the fact that we're being reassessed, my biggest concern with next year's budget is we're going to get smacked for the huge tax increase. I say this to you because we have additional bonds that we just passed that weren't mentioned previously, that were done for various reasons. Keep that in mind when we're staring at the budget for 2016, because, the adage of we have to spend money to make money, I don't necessarily believe wholeheartedly, because it just seems like it's a faucet that's on overload right now. So I'm asking you guys to keep it in mind for next year, for the additional monies that we've now borrowed in the form of a bond on top of everything else, and the taxpayers in their pockets. Thank you. Have a good night. Have a good Thanksgiving.
Thank you. Ms. Scull?
Your school board.
Yeah, I didn't, she didn't, did she have her hand up?
Hello,
Hello.
Sherry.
Sherry Skull.
Good to see you.
Thank you. Congratulations, Jason, on your election and induction into the Pemberton Township High School Hall of Fame.
Thank you.
Wanted to point that out.
Thank you.
I probably shouldn't say this, but I'm going to. Very well deserved.
Yes.
You have been very active in the community in many ways since you've graduated and really given back to the community. And sometimes folks forget that when they're voting for Hall of Fame individuals.
Thank you.
And in my opinion, you're the epitome of what it should be. So congratulations.
Thank you. And congratulations to you, too.
Oh. Looking at, let's go back to the Virtua. One of the reasons that we went with Lourdes the last go-round was because they had told us as a religious hospital they would not done our residents. Once insurance had paid what they were going to pay, yes, they would notify the person that they owed them money, but they weren't going to turn them over to a collection agency. And since the change in the format, there was no way we could ask a question before you voted on this issue. I did go out and talk to Mr. Casper, who told me they're a hospital and they will be dunning and going after payment. And I just worry about that with some of our, especially our senior citizens in the community. So apparently there was something that could have been put in the bid that said when the bid specs went out, but it wasn't there. And of course he said if it had been there, he probably would have had a charge for the service instead of being a zero charge. But I think that's something I wanted to make council well aware of, and we need to make sure the residents know that there is a change. You know, of course, if they've used the paramedics in the past, they already know that. But we had folks before who were waiting at home and would not go in a, what was that company we had? Monarch.
Monarch.
They wouldn't go with Monarch.
MONOC.
Right, because they knew they were going to be done and they didn't feel they had the money to pay above what the insurance company did. And I know we almost had one woman who almost succumbed to a heart attack because she was being so bullheaded. So I just, you know, knowing a lot of our folks in the community are very hard-pressed to pay additional funding, I just wanted to point that out to council. And I understand wanting to change things around, but if you remember, a lot of our meetings before we changed it in the past went on to 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock in the morning. So I hope going back to this format doesn't do that. I think it was advantageous to have people say what they wanted to say and get out of here and go home, especially if they had kids. So thank you. Have a great Thanksgiving.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sherry.
Ms. Maldonado, and then Mr. Tompkins.
Never Met stuff on. They just like made it to the World Series. Who's in the Met jacket?
Yeah, did they win? Who won?
They lost.
I saw the guy with the tattoo. Did you see that? He got the Mets championship tattoo.
Okay, Terry Maldonado, Board Liaison for Pemberton Township School. We just came here tonight to let you know that school spirit is running wild at PTHS. The Pemberton Township football team is still undefeated for the season.
Yeah.
We will be having our next game this Friday, November 6th at 1 p.m. versus Cinnaminson. And everybody's questioning, why is it on a Friday? School's closed. 2, Saturday is SATs. So we would like to invite all of you to come out and please take a spot on the bleachers and help us support, because this is a great thing. We'd also like to thank Mayor Petriarca, who was our special guest at the Harkawali School, where he was a special buddy on the bench. He was Tony Trigono, superintendent's buddy that day. And we are also doing something new, where we're trying to find ways, after talking to Mrs. Stinney, about finding ways to promote our school system, the good that we do. So, the school system came up with this. We have a copy for each of you.
Thank you.
Okay? And this is, we're trying to let the kids see that we care about what they're going through. So they came up with this community caring concept. And if you notice the pictures on the front, you'll see pictures of some of our staff administrators when they were teenagers. So we're trying to let the kids...
That's so cruel.
But hey, everybody's loving this. They're getting
That's
down
really
with it.
cruel.
This is a good thing. Trust me, it's a good thing. We're trying to promote Pemberton Township schools and get it out there that we are the place of interest and we are the place to be. Okay, but if you also look on the back page, on the bottom left-hand side, you'll see where we are asking for ideals for future articles. So if you have one, please send it to us. We would love to hear from it. Okay, and then now I'm going to talk as a taxpayer. Scamble Drive. I'm glad to see the problem is finally going to get fixed, because it is a road hazard and it is very dangerous. But, thank you.
Just a compliment. I don't know if it was done officially through the schools, but I attended the game on Saturday, and the tailgate was excellent. That was after the game. I think it was coordinated by the cheerleaders and some Pemberton Township alum. That was very good idea, very good time.
Well, like I said, we're trying to promote our schools. I personally didn't make the tailgating party, which I wanted to, but because I do this massive Halloween thing in my backyard for the neighborhood kids. But I did get to the last quarter of the game, which was the best part personally, but I'm glad to see that we are still doing it. We're still driving forward, and we're still doing what we got to do for our kids.
Okay. Here, take these back.
Well, if you want to wait for Miss Stinney and...
Okay. Can we? Yeah. Amy will circulate them.
Right, and there's one extra.
Dave, thank you. Mr. Tompkins?
Jack Tompkins again. To piggyback on what Terry said, I was over there too. Jason, we saw each other.
We shook
That was a phenomenal event, and I think as long as some folks and the kids and the parents all participate, I can see that growing into a really nice event annually, as long as the parents are out there kind of keeping an eye on things. It was really nice. I also wanted to thank Tom. As a lot of you folks know, there was an election this week. Nothing's official yet, but Tom and I did have a little competition going on, and we agreed early on that it was going to be a gentlemanly type of competition with no name-calling or throwing under the bus.
Right.
And I do honestly believe that we did succeed in doing that throughout the campaign, and it was a really good campaign. I enjoyed it. For the first time running for office, excuse me?
Let's do a handshake.
It's all thanks. For the first time running in office, you know, you see some of the campaigns and you hear some of the horror stories. Tom made it a pleasure. I had butterflies. I'm sure you probably did once or twice too. And I still get a little bit of butterflies where I can't believe the outcome. And I'm happy. I hope it doesn't change. So that's my good news for today. I don't like the format that we ran tonight. I'm sorry. I wish we would have had comment. I agree with Sherry. The no-cost portion of the ambulance concerns me a little bit. Some folks might come into hard times with that. I understand that it is what it is, but I wish we would have maybe explored that a little bit more. With a township of this size, 64 square miles, I believe one ambulance only is really going to hurt us. If you're in a car accident, there's a lot of times where there's more than one person that needs to be transported, and we have a lot of car accidents in this town. So that's a big concern. I know We had a family situation 2 years ago, and there was a really bad 15 minutes of time in this township, and every emergency service unit was tasked. And I'm thankful that we had a mutual agreement with the borough, because they responded, and our outcome was good, thanks to those folks. But with only one ambulance in the town, I have my serious concerns for coverage of such a large township.
As other council members did, and administration assured us that they are going to be bidding, as you heard, sometime soon to see what we could do about that.
I understand. Hopefully that's done soon. I'd hate to see an accident happen on the 21st where they need 4 or 5 ambulances and we only have 1. Firehouse and PL, can we get an update or a status on when we might be getting some emergency services into that facility?
If administration has a response to that question.
I'm supposed to hear from the engineers next week on the roof. The architects and the roofing company are supposed to get back to us by next week on where we're at with that. But until we get the roof situation under control, we can't put any equipment in there.
The progress is being made.
Okay. Yeah, I knew the roof was the issue. So hopefully by the 2nd of December meeting, we'll have something a little bit firmer on when we might be able to take some action on that facility. And that's all I have. Y'all have a good night.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Ms. Phillips. Mr. Tam, do you mind if Ms. Phillips goes before you? Ladies first.
Good evening, everybody in general.
Good evening.
I haven't been in here for a while. I was doing volunteer service all this day. And when I return home, I see my street the same way. Nothing has been done. I asked in very nice manner way in reference to the drainage, but I haven't received no answer or anything what is going on. I know they got money for the roads now. What is going on with the drainage on Tennessee Trail and PL? Anybody can answer me that?
Have we had anyone from Public Works out to take a look at that?
Over the past year, we've had, as we've indicated before, we've had Public Works and the engineer out there looking at it multiple times. Again, the issue with the roads and drainage is that we had a very late start due to funding issues, and we're trying to do as much work as we possibly can before the winter. If we're being asked right now whether Tennessee Trail is on the short list to be able to complete before during this year, I think the answer is no. It's going to have to wait until 2016.
But it will be on the list for 2016.
Much of the 2015 list, and it wasn't on the 2015 list, has been deferred to 2016, so it is on the list. It's just that there wasn't enough time or money to complete the work this year.
Yes, I understand, Mr. Administrator, when you made the statement. There is no money, they run out of money. I understand that, and I understand that the bad weather is coming up. But I want to know if it's something going to be done in the future, because my basement is not going to take a lot of water. That's my concern. My insurance company stated it's not their problem. Township built the road, put the road in there, and did a drop. Guess what? Somebody going to pay. But I will just continue asking this question, hoping in 2016 the problem get repaired. I had the same question Mr. Tompkins had in reference to the fire companies will return to PL, because I attended the Civic Association meeting, and was one of the questions that we want to know what is going on. I also noticed on Chippewa Trail was a fence supposed to be coming out by the lake, where they finished the dam in there. And if I'm not mistaken, during the beginning of the summer, I asked the question. The Mr. Administrator stated they gotta wait until the grass, the seed they throw in there grows. Guess what? Seed grows up, seed is, grass is getting brown, and it's still no fence in there. Okay, I also was told in here they was going to put the fence in it. They already been ordered.